What's up, guys? Michael here. So we are doing a video on the Z900RS today. Due to a new modification, we're doing some new blinkers. Now, as you can see, this blinker just broke. I haven't ridden this bike in a while. It's just kind of been going through one of those moods where I'm not riding a ton, but the bike has just been sitting in my garage for about a couple months now. I've ridden it once in the past month, and this blinker just broke. Very notorious for these to break. It's a pretty common issue. This side, still pretty good. You can see why these things break because they are very flimsy, and after a while they just generally tend to crack, like right here or in this area. As you can see, this one broke right here. So we got some new parts today we're gonna put on. I am going to have to remove the cowl because you have to get the headlight off to get to the wiring and all that. So I'm going to show you what I got, and then we'll start the process of installing them. All right, so as you guys know, I do tend to like TST Industries stuff. It's pretty good quality. It's not cheap. So I did get a flasher relay. Since this bike has an aftermarket taillight on it, I did pick up one of their plug-and-play relays. That way I didn't have to splice any resistors in or anything like that. We got an OEM, or not OEM, but it's a TST harness to connect directly to the OEM plug, so we don't have to cut anything, keep everything nice and clean. We also have these plates, which are going to cover the ginormous hole that is going to be left when we take the stock blinkers off. And then we have the blinkers themselves. Now these are their TRL6. Let me look at my invoice real quick. These are their BL6SQ turn signals. These are their sequential ones, so they are supposed to be sequential. So those should look pretty nice. But we got the BL6SQ, the CVK01, which is the turn signal adapter relay. That's just the plug harness. We got the RLYG2, which is the flasher relay itself. And then the PSA 1000s, which are the base to cover up the OEM holes so everything looks nice and clean. So I'm gonna start off by taking my cowl off. There is a bracket down here, and then I have two screws on both sides. This is an aftermarket cowl, it's a Goldcraft one, so it's not gonna be the same as like an OEM Kawasaki one if you're watching it. All right, so we've got the cowl off. I have these two posts here, which have to be removed with a socket. Remember, I want to say it's a 19mm socket, but I just want to take a look, and like the bike looks so much better in my opinion with the cowl on it. I mean, it looks good in both ways, but I really like the cowl. It looks great. I've had that cowl on for a bit now. But I'm gonna go ahead and replace these. You can see how flimsy these are, which I've always hated. Look, you can pop them right out. It's crazy how easy those just pop out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these two posts out, and then we should be able to pull the headlight. Actually, I remembered, there's two Allen keys. I believe we can get to it by just unscrewing. There's an Allen key on this side and also this side. Okay, so we got those two screws out. This trim cover piece should just pop off now. There we go. So this cover piece, I'm just going to set right there. And then the next thing we're gonna do is take these screws out. So there is 3 of them, or 4 of them. So you got 2 down here and 2 up here. Once you remove those screws, you can then pull the headlight out. Okay, so now we have access to that. Here's the headlight. Now, I do want to say, if you want to remove this headlight completely, there is an adjustment screw at the bottom of the headlight. You do have to back that all the way out, which I have done. I would personally recommend making sure that you take a picture of where the screw is roughly set. That way you can put it back correctly when you install it again. That adjustment screw basically kicks the headlight up or down. So depending on how far you have it screwed in or out, that could affect where your headlight is leveled at. So I'd recommend taking a picture of that beforehand. So now we have access. This is our main connector for our headlight. We have, if I move, this is going to be the right blinker side. You can, now there's these little connectors right here that are, they're not really connectors, but they're just little kind of C-clips to hold the wires in place. So if you press in on the one side, about right there, you can then pop it open and we can get to our one wire. I'm gonna do one side at a time. So if I pull this, you're gonna see that that wire is moving and we're pulling on the right side. So the right side is gonna be your gray plug and the black side is gonna be your left blinker. Or if you're looking at the bike head on, you know, right side, left side. But if you're sitting, I'm saying these if you're sitting on the bike, this is gonna be your right side connector, which is gonna be gray. So there's our right blinker with the connector and everything. So we're gonna start by installing the right side. Now, the one thing is I'm really trying to have to avoid, I may have to take off this whole headlight housing completely because the plates that I bought to cover up these large holes, I think I have to install the bolt on the back side of them, but we're gonna see if I can do it without having to take that whole housing off because it is kind of a pain. I gotta remove these bolts and then take it all off. So we'll see how it works and go from there. All right guys, so I got this is the OEM connection, right? Or I'm sorry, the aftermarket connection. And I have it plugged in and I have the turn signal right here. They're on secure. These are a little more wobbly than I thought they were, but we'll see how I like them over time. They are not fully blinking right now because they're hyper flashing. So my next thing I'm gonna do just to make sure that they do flash properly is I'm going to put in a flasher relay. I'm just trying to find where that is on this bike. All right guys, so I am replacing the flasher relay. This is the OEM one that was in the bike. I have removed it. And this is the aftermarket one. Now, this thing is buried. A lot of bikes, they're just like right up here in the main compartment. I'm gonna show you where to locate this thing if you're looking for it. So, trying to get my flashlight on the right brightness. All right, so if you were looking for this, I recommend taking out the battery, definitely have to do. These two fuse boxes right here are just clipped on to that black plate. You basically just lift back on that plastic and they'll pull right up. Then once you have those off, there is down here, let me get my phone there. Down there, if you see that black clip that's kind of sticking out right there, in that yellowish white plug, that is where the flasher relay is located. So it's kind of buried down there. You don't take the battery out, remove these two fuse boxes, and then you can get to it. The OEM flasher relay is gonna have a rubber boot on it. I have switched it over to this boot, and then on that metal post that you saw, this just slips right over the metal post and keeps it from moving around in there. And then obviously you're plugging your OEM plug into this side. All this is a relay, and it's going to correct how quick the flashers are actually going to flash. Because right now they're hyper flashing, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in and we'll make sure it works correctly. Okay, so just to show you, that is where, if you were looking at the front of the bike, you come straight down, that gray box right there, that is where the flasher relay is located. You can see I have it back over the metal post. It is plugged in. So now, these fuse boxes, I'll show you how they go back on. And you just push them over this post, and they clip in, like so. And then when you need to remove them, this little plastic piece, you just push back on it, and pull it up, like so. So very easy to do, no screws are needed, or screwdrivers are needed. Okay, so got the battery in. If everything is done correctly, our flasher should work correctly. You do appear to have normal flashing there. There we go. Oh, it's really nice. I might have to adjust them a little bit up or down, but I say that looks pretty clean in my opinion. It looks to be a normal flash rate. Let me make sure my rears are still working. Rears are still working, so that's cool. And our indicators work, so that's perfect. So this is the best way, in my opinion, to do this. If you can just get one of those relays, you don't have to modify wiring, you don't have to add resistors. Much cleaner. It's a little bit more money, way worth it in my opinion though. Okay guys, so I have this side on. You can see how those adapter plates go, and then I also have this side on as well. Threw a little bit of blue Loctite on there, which I need to clean up, but you get the gist. So they're straight and look good. I'm going to connect the harness for this side. This gets fed through the back of the taillight. You can see it right there. And then I'm going to try and clean up this wiring a little bit. All right guys, so we got all the wiring nice and done. I zip tied it so it looks clean. I also zip tied the two butt-end connectors, the female to male connectors together for both sides. That way they don't rattle apart, and also that the watertight jacket kind of stays tight to them as well. So this will sit nicely right about there once the headlight's in. So I've already tightened down both my bolts now. If you have an OEM naked Z900RS without the cowl, this is going to look a little bit different. Even the OEM one, I believe, looks a little bit different than these, but same premises. You're going to have some bolts here. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the headlight and then also start screwing it in. You're putting those 4 screws back in along with the adjuster screw that goes in down here. All right guys, so we have the headlight back in, the headlight trim, the 2 small little Allen screw bolts on both sides right here, and it's on. So I am going to put on the cowl and then I'll show you guys how it all looks. Now you can probably already see that the cowl is going to stick out a tad further than the turn signals, but I think it'll look okay. So let's see how it looks with everything back together. All right, and she's done. I think it looks really clean. It looks super sleek, a lot better than the OEM ones. I'm a little undecided on if I like how they are recessed a little bit. Not a ton, but you can see them from the side, and everything does look very clean. There's no gaps, can't see any wiring. Looks OEM plus. So they're a little flimsy. I didn't realize they were plastic. I thought they were metal. That's one thing I kind of wish they were metal, like for these 60 bucks basically, call it. I spent $100 on everything with the flasher relay, the OEM plug harness, that way I don't have to splice anything. So I mean, TSC, I kind of wish these were metal for the price, but you know, they look decent-ish quality. They honestly, I'm not 100% happy with them. I mean, they look nice, don't get me wrong, they look nice, but when I am spending, you know, 60 bucks, I would have expected them to be metal. I might change these out, I don't know. We'll ride with them for a little bit, see how they work out, but I think they look really clean. They're clean from the front as well. Taillight still works perfect. Flashers still work perfect. But yeah, we'll ride with them for a bit, see how they work out. But you know, overall, pretty fair. I mean, you have to take some things apart. I hope this video helps some people. But yeah, that's my video. Please subscribe, helps me out tremendously. I'm really trying to grow my YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.